You've probably heard these facts your entire life and never questioned them. But what if I told you some of the most famous things you believe about animals are completely wrong? Not slightly wrong, not outdated, completely false. And the crazy part? These myths have been repeated so many times for so many years, they feel like truth. So right now, I want you to imagine I'm standing right in front of you, looking you straight in the eye. And I ask you, how many things do you believe just because you've heard them over and over again? Let's break that illusion, one myth at a time. First one, the classic. Ostriches bury their heads in the sand. You've seen the image, right? An ostrich, scared, hiding its head underground like it's pretending the world disappeared. Sounds funny, memorable, completely false. No ostrich has ever done that. What actually happens is much more interesting. When an ostrich senses danger, it lowers its head flat against the ground. From a distance, it blends in, almost invisible. Now imagine you're far away, heat waves in the air, you see a big body, but no head. Your brain fills in the gap. Oh, it must be buried. But that's not hiding, that's strategy. And it gets better. These birds can run at around 70 kilometers per hour. Think about that. That's faster than most predators chasing them. And their legs, not just for running, one kick can be deadly. Plus, their eyesight is insane. They can spot danger from kilometers away. So no, they don't hide. They survive by being faster, stronger, and more aware than almost anything around them. Because evolution doesn't reward stupidity. An animal that actually buried its head would be dead within minutes. Now let's talk about bats. Blind as a bat. You've heard it, maybe even used it, but it's wrong. Bats can see, and some of them see really well. In fact, certain bats rely heavily on their vision to find food and navigate. So where did this myth come from? Echolocation. That incredible ability where bats send out sound waves and see the world through the echoes. People heard about that and assumed, well, if they use sound, they must be blind. No, they use both. Think about it, 2 systems instead of one. Vision for distance, echolocation for precision in the dark. Some bats can even see ultraviolet light, something humans can't see at all. So while we're struggling in low light, they're navigating like pros. Blind as a bat should have been retired a long time ago. Now picture a shark, moving, always moving, never stopping. Because if it stops, it dies. Sounds intense, right? But again, only partially true. Yes, some sharks need to keep swimming to breathe. They rely on constant motion to push water over their gills. But many others, they can just stop, rest, sit on the ocean floor completely still. They actively pull water through their gills using muscles. No panic, no urgency, just calm, controlled breathing. There are over 500 different species of sharks, and they don't all follow the same rules. Some are fast hunters, others are patient, waiting motionless for the perfect moment. So the idea that all sharks are these non-stop killing machines, it's a myth that oversimplifies a very complex reality. Now this one is darker than you think. Lemmings follow each other off cliffs. You've probably heard that as a metaphor for people blindly following others. But the truth? That behavior was staged, completely fake. Filmmakers wanted dramatic footage, so they took animals, put them in an unnatural situation, and forced the scene. What people believed was nature was actually manipulation. In real life, lemmings migrate when populations grow. They move in large numbers searching for food. Sometimes they cross rivers, some drown. That happens in nature. But they are not jumping to their deaths on purpose. They are not mindless. They are not suicidal. That myth didn't just spread, it was created. Now imagine the largest land animal on Earth. Massive, powerful, unstoppable. And then imagine it being terrified of a tiny mouse. Sounds ridiculous when you really think about it, right? Because it is. There's no solid evidence that elephants are afraid of mice. When tested, they don't panic, they don't run. Some of them just look, curious. Others ignore the mouse completely. So where did this idea come from? Sometimes elephants react to sudden movement near their feet, not because it's a mouse, but because something moved unexpectedly in a sensitive area. That's not fear, that's awareness. Big difference. Now let's talk about dogs. Dogs see only in black and white. Nope, they do see color, just not the same range as humans. Their world is mostly shades of blue and yellow. So when you throw a bright red ball onto green grass, to you, it's obvious. To your dog, it might look like a dull, blended color. That's why sometimes they struggle to find toys, not because they're slow, but because their vision works differently. And here's something interesting. Their night vision is better than ours. Their motion detection is sharper. So while we see more colors, they see movement and darkness better. Different strengths, not a limitation. Now for something that sounds romantic. Penguins mate for life. It's a beautiful idea. Loyal, devoted, forever. But reality is more practical. Many penguins stay together for one breeding season. After that, they move on. New partner, new cycle. It's not about lifelong love, it's about timing, survival, reproduction. If a partner doesn't show up, they don't wait forever, they adapt. Because in the wild, survival always comes before sentiment. Here's another image you've probably seen: an opossum hanging upside down, asleep, by its tail. Looks cool, totally fake. Adult opossums can't even support their body weight that way for long. They use their tails for balance and grip while climbing, not for hanging and definitely not for sleeping. That idea mostly came from cartoons, not biology. In reality, they sleep in safe places like dens or hollow trees, like most animals. Now let's clear up one more popular one. Daddy longlegs are the most venomous spiders. This one sounds scientific, which is exactly why people believe it, but it's wrong on multiple levels. First, many daddy longlegs aren't even spiders. They don't have venom. They can't bite. Completely harmless. Second, even the ones that are spiders, their venom is weak, not dangerous to humans. This myth didn't come from research. It came from repetition. Someone said it, others repeated it, and it stuck. And finally, porcupines. You've probably heard they can shoot their quills. No, they can't. There is no mechanism, no launching system. What actually happens is simple. When something touches them, the quills detach easily and stick into the attacker. Fast, instant, painful. So it looks like they were shot. But contact is required. And those quills, they're designed to stay in and move deeper over time, which makes them incredibly effective without needing to be fired at all. So now I want you to pause for a second. Think about everything we just covered. How many of these did you believe without ever questioning? That's the real lesson here. Not just about animals, but about information. Just because something is repeated doesn't make it true. And sometimes the truth is far more interesting than the myth.